Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. We have an impromptu unboxing video on the grounds that this wasn't due till Monday. Today's Friday, and this has come in handy because this will be a short video and it will give me something to load Sunday morning, because I won't have long Sunday morning. I got the coach trip, but I can film this today and just store it away, load it up Sunday morning, so there will be something on Sunday, despite previous videos saying there won't. Most of you will recognise the packaging. This is from Susanna Speciotic Plants on eBay, and it was an impromptu purchase. I was just having a look around to see what was about, and I saw this and I thought, well, looks like a lot of the media is now not in the pot. It seems to be loose all over the box, but nonetheless I'll need that to say what it is, if it says what it is. It doesn't say it in full, and there's one part of this plant name, fold it over, get rid of my address. There's one part of the plant name that I don't know, haven't come across. But obviously this was topped with grit, and most of the grit is now in the box. That's Postman Pat turning it upside down and at various angles, despite it saying this way up. But whatever's come out of the pot won't actually matter, because it's not staying in the pot long anyway. That I do know. I'll try and keep all this grit stuff in the box and not all over the floor, especially as I walk around in bare feet a lot. I wasn't expecting a bloom on this, but I can see already I've not only got a bloom, but I've got a bud as well. That are good. But yeah, certainly a lot of the grit's come out. Get rid of that, because that's for, have we got the full name on here? Nope, we've still only got a partial name. Right, let's see if we can get this lot off, then we can have a look at it. Little miniature, but there's grit all over the place. It must have been heavily topped with grit. But that's not a problem. This is the sort of plant that shouldn't have a lot of moisture directly around its base all the time. So that is good. Mind you, the grit could have been holding it in its pot. Right, so there we have. What is in effect, I can tell that we haven't got a brilliant root system and it's far too wet. This is a clay pot actually, but it's coming out of here probably today, literally, because I don't like, yeah, it's in moss and it shouldn't be. So it's going on a mount. There's some viable roots there and some not so viable ones, but nonetheless there's new ones coming down from the plant. So we've got a root system. Now this is obviously Dendrobium Cuthbertsonii, but it's crossed with something else. I think it's something like Solowensiae or something, but I'll look it up and do a pop-up when I put the video together. And then that particular cross is then crossed back with Cuthbertsonii again. So you actually got a cross with the word orange afterwards, which could actually be its variety name. In other words, the cross is named, cross back with Cuthbertsonii again. But this makes for a slightly larger plant than the actual species Cuthbertsonii. So lovely delicate little bloom, and it's not the same as the Cuthbertsonii I've got, which is completely orange. Yeah, this one is two-toned, so you've got one colour around the outside and then the deeper orange colour down through the centre with the hooded lip. So yeah, and it doesn't look a bad plant. Let's see if we can see any new growths at the moment. Well, I can see some smaller growths, whether they're new ones or not I don't know, but this grows a lot larger than the actual species Cuthbertsonii. So yeah, just a spur of the moment purchase really. I saw it, had a look, and with speciotic plants you will get plant like on picture, but that seller's reliable. You know, obviously if they've got a dozen plants to sell and they're all roughly the same, which they are with that seller, they're not miles different, then obviously she can only post one picture, not each individual plant, because that might mean 10 eBay posts and you get charged per post. So she puts one post up and then sells them until they're gone. You often get things like one left. Anyway, I will get that mounted in the very near future. I might even do it today. That'll be yet another video. But nice little plant. We've got growth tips all over the place here, so canes are still growing in places and some root activity, but I don't like the fact that's in soggy moss. So what I'm going to do temporarily is just take it out of the pot and just put it on a shelf somewhere where it can dry off a bit. It may well have been watered to post, so it's excessively wet purely for transport purposes, but that's better than it drying out. So anyway, a new plant. Let's update me notes accordingly once I find out what that the bit beginning with S actually is. I need to find the full name, but the cross back with Cuthbertsonii appears quite often, so I should be able to get the full name quite easily. So there we go, a new plant. Now you might think that's a bit daft when I'm off to an orchid nursery on Sunday, which is today if that's when I post it, but they might not have any of these, and if they've got some they might not be as good. They could be better, in which case I might get another one. Nice dwarf thing, not going to take up much space, doesn't take a lot of looking after, and we've got a bud to open shortly. So there we go. See you next time. Bye for now.